I'm Christy.
I'm Courtney.
I'm Rashana, and we are the
1000
Club. Hey, y'all. We're going to get that. We're really,
I was like, we're getting better at that.
We really are. And you all can help us. Actually, we encourage you all to join us every other Thursday on YouTube or wherever you get your dosage of podcasts. Follow us at 1000 Club Life on all social media platforms. Thank you very much. Subscribe, like, share, tell your mama, grandmama, and them. All right. Today is October 8th, 2020, and we are talking about everything health and wealth. Why? Because it goes down in the pink. Hey. I wanted to sing, the show's theme song, but I don't want you to.
Please, what's up with your vocals?
So let's get
Fox challenge. Give us something good.
I ain't got no money for that. So let's get right into it, ladies, with our check-in, or should I say check-up, since we're talking about health and wealth today.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, ladies, hold up your glass. We are drinking pink drink today. Hence, it goes down in the pink. So cheers, ladies, to that. This week, my check. Let me get a drink first.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking some wine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of wine?
I have Riesling.
Oh,
Nice Riesling in here. I'm getting, 30s fancy. I gotta get fancy.
yeah. I have pink lemonade, Henny Rita.
Oh, okay, Henny Rita.
You made it yourself?
I did, and I have a sugared rim.
I see you got a little garnish on the side, a little fancy.
Garnish. Yes, okay.
It was real fancy.
Let's see what you drinking.
So I have a Jamaican Me Crazy. I just got it from one of our fave restaurants, the Barrel Club.
Oh.
So I bought a cocktail to go, so this is what it is.
Oh, yes. The one nice thing about this craziness is you can get cocktails to go.
We need it, okay?
Yes.
I actually haven't done that yet.
Really?
Mm-mm.
You gotta try it. You gotta try it.
I will.
Yeah.
I want to try the Barrel Club in December when we come.
When y'all come visit, I definitely have to take y'all there.
Yes.
It's like one of our favorites. We are there all the time. Like the staff is like family to us at this point.
Oh, that's good. So we're gonna go there and be like, we know her. Okay.
Give us the we know her discount.
Get a little discount. All right. So my check-up or check-in this week, let's see. Today marks 5 years from when I got the offer letter for my job. Facebook let me know. So it's been 5 years. Congratulations to me.
Yes, I guess at your job. That's awesome.
Yes, 5 years in, I did my time. So I did my 5-year bid already. So we'll see what the next chapter holds after this. Now that I feel like 5 years is a good time to stay at a job and then start thinking about where to move next. So that's where I'm at with that. I did catch up on Lovecraft Country, so I can be a part of the chats in the groups. I caught up because I always be behind y'all. I'm always behind, so I caught up. And what else? Oh, and this week I tried some vegan ice cream and I did vegan pizza. So no dairy over here. And that was interesting. Very, very interesting.
Did you like it?
You have to get used to the texture of vegan cheese because it's plant-based, it doesn't melt as good as regular cheese. The ice cream was good. Shout out to Archer Farms Target. Has some really good non-dairy ice cream. So y'all need to try that. But the vegan cheese is okay. It's okay. The cauliflower crust was good. The vegan cheese was okay. So I might try different.
I find with the vegan cheese, you have to make sure you put it in something. Like I like it in my shrimp and grits, or I like it on a burger, or like seasoned, because it has a very faint taste of the real cheese. And if you're really looking for that, to me, you have to really get the sauces and everything going.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try that next. I'm gonna have to put it in something and see how it goes. Because I just put it on top of the pizza and the sauce, and I was like, I really like it.
And also, I've only liked the vegan cheddar. I haven't been able to find. No, I did find a vegan Parmesan because I love a Caesar salad, and those were good. I really don't like the vegan like American.
Oh, see, I had vegan mozzarella cheese. So
I haven't tried that yet.
So that one was okay.
Yeah.
I did try the soy American slices that they were good. But like I said, you just have to melt it a little bit more.
Right.
So, I'll give y'all an update the next time I try another vegan.
Yes, let us know.
Let y'all know.
Right.
Yes, but that's my check-in. That's what I've been doing this week. What y'all been doing?
Okay, so for me, I just wanted to say that this is our first episode in October. So the reason we have our Pynk cups today and the episode is called The Pynk is because we want to acknowledge that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. In addition to that, or all connected because, I'm all about symbols and things, I wore my Pura Vida shirt, if you can see. And that is a mantra that they say a lot when you visit Costa Rica. And it's purple, but the shade of purple is like a pink mixed with purple. And the reason I did that is because October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so I wanted to highlight the fact that Pura Vida, which is like pure life, your best life, living on 1,000,
yes.
right, is really about making sure that you're taking care of your health, getting checked up. For those of us who have breast cancer in our families, ensuring that we are doing everything possible to stay healthy. And then also being healthy is about your physical health. It's also about your mental health and your spiritual health. And remembering that there are great ways to communicate. There are safe ways to communicate. We know that domestic violence has been on the rise, particularly since COVID started. And so for those of you all who might be listening, maybe when we post, I guess we should probably post like the domestic violence hotline for anyone who wants to seek help, I'm talking about health, who wants to seek help, but also just be healthy, put yourself first, maintain your peace. And we acknowledge those people who are survivors of domestic violence, those who are still finding their way, and those who unfortunately, may have lost their lives to domestic violence, but also breast cancer. So that is really my check-in, check-up. I'm on Lovecraft Country, as you all know. Tonight at 9:00 is the For the Culture discussion, which is a Zoom. You can follow For the Culture on Facebook. And as you can see, I also am in a different place this week. So my aunt got some really nice new furniture. I would show you all her house, but she may watch it and be upset. But I am in Greensboro, North Carolina this week, helping my younger cousin learn to drive. He is 18, and he has to get 60 hours of lessons due to COVID. The driving schools are not open. And so once he gets 60 hours and we sign off on it, then he is able to get his license. So we're really excited about that. He's doing a really great job. I'm really proud of him. We've had some, close calls, but not close enough where it's like, oh no, you can't drive again. But he's doing great. So I'm happy to be here with my family and not at home. Just to talk to someone else, have someone else in the house is great. And I'm loving this new furniture that she has and the new color on the wall. That shit's just like,
I was about to say that green looks very nice. I'm gonna have to get that shade.
Yes. So it used to be all white.
Oh.
And during COVID, she was inspired by moi doing all of the the home renovations, and so she had the home painted. So mostly everything is this color of this wall, and then she has like accents of this green wall. But it's really nice, really, really nice. And shout out to my cousin Javon for leaving his broken ring light because it is giving me all the vibes right now.
Yeah,
but not the broken ring light though.
There's a covering that goes on the ring light that's not here. And so apparently that's why he left it. But I said, oh no, let me plug this up. We can use this.
It's doing a job.
It's doing its job, yes.
I feel like I need a book, and to say, and tonight we are talking all things. Like, I feel like, it's either that or I'm in a confessional.
Yes.
You are giving me confessional, like housewives vibes.
And one of those low budget films, like I knew that he was going to kill her. Okay.
Oh my God.
Well, today is October 1st, which means that the end of the federal government fiscal year is over. So
Yeah.
I'm
Shout out to the
elated.
start of the fiscal year.
Yes, it's 2021 for the federal government. I made it through I think this was my 9th fiscal year. And this was by
Wow.
far, yes, this was by far the craziest end of fiscal year. So I'm just glad that I made it through, got, what I needed to get done. That's pretty much all I've been doing is really focusing on work and trying to just stay sane, trying not to stress out, trying to enjoy life when I could. I worked over the weekend last weekend, but I still tried to get out and go out to eat and get some drinks. That's it. That's all I really had going on.
Well, October
What was
1st
your
is
home situation? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Courtney.
home situation. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
that
don't
you
know
had
if
to
I
leave us last
shared.
week.
Yeah, I don't know if I shared. I put my house on the market to sell, and that process is still ongoing. I really don't have any updates at this point. I hope to give updates next episode. It's still on the market. So this is my first time selling a house. I have mixed feelings about it. At first, I was like, oh, I want to get rid of it. I'm ready to let go of it. But that is my first home. It's not going to be my last. Once I sell this one, I do want to purchase another property, hopefully here in Chicago. So I'm excited about that. I've been looking at properties here in Chicago. I've always wanted to live in the city. And by city at the time, because I'm from the DC area, I always wanted to live in DC. And so that never happened. And so I do live in the city, if you want to say. I do live in the city of Chicago, but I don't live kind of like near downtown where it's popping, where I can just walk to the grocery store, walk to Starbucks or whatever. And so I said, you know what? I want to make my dreams happen. So if I can't, I may not live near downtown, but I'm going to try to make it so that I can own property near downtown.
yes.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love that. And when you do that, make sure you let us know first so we can stay in it and have the downtown.
Yeah. I actually asked my husband, I was like, if I get this new property, can we like live in it for a month just so I get like the actual feel of this city life before I rent it out. But I'm excited. Like one chapter hopefully will be coming to a close soon once I sell this house. And then I can start a new chapter. So I am excited. It's bittersweet, but I never looked at that home as my forever home.
You always said that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was always my starter home. And I had some good memories there, but I also wasn't there a lot. I traveled a lot. I was gone for months at some points. So I also had other people living in my house. So it never really felt like it was mine, but I also shared it. So I really don't have any hard feelings in letting go of it. Really,
I love how you turned that around, by the way, because just to keep it all the way 100, I was just like not fully cheerleading for selling the property. I just have a thing about, Black people selling property. But I really love that you are repurposing it in some way, right? Like you're selling this property in Maryland that was a starter home. It was a dream or even a step at some point to now be able to live your dream, right? To have that and to give someone else that. And so you're still maintaining your property somewhere else. So even though, you know what I mean? It's like, I just love that. I love that idea. So now I'm like, go Christy, go Christy.
Yeah, like I don't know how soon it's going to happen, but eventually
it'll happen.
This will happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and if you're looking for a house in the DMV area.
Yes. If you're looking for a home in the DMV, just be out there and bully me. I don't want to give the address, but
DM the one that
send me a side DM. Yes. Side DM. Send us a voice message on Anchor or something.
Speaking of giving the address, right? Side note, I was on a call today for my class, right? And I have a classmate who was talking about somebody, I think it's a niece or a cousin or something that lives in Greensboro. And he was like, yeah, she's an assistant principal and she lives at, and like gave us her full address. And I was like, mental note, never let my address. But I think
People are
the
crazy out
reason he
here.
was doing that was because I said I was in Greensboro, and maybe he was thinking that I may know the street, you know, so then I may know the high school that's associated with that area. But I was just like, wow, you just put her whole address out there.
The whole address. I mean, he could have gave you the street.
I know, but,
What
you know.
if you wanted to pull up? Like, no, that's
You know,
crazy.
he said his nephew, I might have pulled up, you know.
Hey!
Well, in that case, you might want to pull up.
Exactly, I know, but he said his niece, so.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, we are talking about health convos in our 30s. You know, when we turn 30, things change. I think we all have our own stories about how they changed. And so I want to start with Courtney because you just turned 30 this year.
I did.
So, yeah, actually, I will always remember my last trip, my last good time before everything went crazy, before quarantine, was to celebrate Courtney's 30th birthday.
Yes.
So I'm
Who knew that was going to be all of our last hurrahs? We might have partied a little more.
exactly. We could have been a little harder, right?
I may have not fell asleep as early.
Right.
Look, it was the 30 kicking in.
Yeah.
But I really am interested because you just turned 30.
Mm-hmm.
How many months has it been?
6.
So 6 months. Mm-hmm. Is there really any change from your 20s to hitting 30?
I will say, I think, so it's funny because I feel like on the end of the 20s, my tolerance was getting lower. I was getting tired a lot more. I wasn't going out as much. Like brunch was the turn up, okay? It was like, I'm not going to the club. I'm going to brunch. I'm going to turn up between the hours of 12 and 5 and go and take a nap. But what I will say is, like I mentioned earlier, with the vegan cheese, I will say what I've noticed is like some of the things that bothered me before are heightened now. Like for instance, why are you making that face?
I'm making a whatever face because all of you should have been on vegan cheese.
No, you know what? I will say I've always had the issue with dairy, but for some reason this year it just like
was unbearable.
It was unbearable. Like I could not even eat a piece of pizza this week because I just felt so sick. And I realized like my diet is so much more important now. What I put in my body, you know, how I treat my body is a lot more important. One, because I'm getting older. 2, because as I get older, you know, you want to start a family, you want to make sure you're healthy and things are together to do that. So I will say, I think physically at least, what I've realized is some of the things I've had issues with before just seem like unbearable now, like sugar. Like I was drinking coffee this morning with sugar and had like a coughing spell. And it was just so weird.
I didn't know you ever drink your coffee with sugar. I thought you liked it black.
I usually don't, but today I was like, I wanted to try it, and the sugar just irritated my throat. Like I could not drink it. So physically, like those things have been changing. I will say, like, of course, emotionally and mentally, you know, there's like this stigma or whatever. People feel like when you turn 30, you change, like what you think about changes and stuff. I will say one of the things I have noticed is like the energy that I bring around myself has changed. Like I'm very intentional about how. Side note, if you guys have been watching Girlfriends, I thought that I had like the Tony style. But Rashonda was like, no, you have turned into Joan. No, not Joan. You have turned into
Len. Yes.
I could see that.
Yes, exactly. Because
Courtney, I don't even know why you didn't think that, Courtney.
Exactly, because Courtney in her mind, okay, in her mind, she thinks that she's like Joan and Tony, like chic, frou. And I think Courtney DC was definitely that. Courtney at 30 has gotten a nose ring. She's wearing her hair natural. She's lighting sage. Okay, she has crystals on her arm. All right, she is totally like, I am one with the Mother Earth. Head wraps, big hoop.
Always,
like,
you know, I think of Lynn as like that free spirit. I always thought that you were free spirited. Like, yeah, you had the more bougie, you know.
She has the more
A
bougie
little bougie.
style, but she's
A
not,
little
I don't think
bougie
she's
style.
like,
But I definitely would say more Lynn
Yes. Okay. Well,
because of your
I'll
free
take
spirit.
what did Facebook say?
free spirit. I don't know. I never took the test.
Oh, you didn't take the quiz? Oh.
I had to take the quiz. So I will say the energy has been there. And I will say one thing that I have been thinking about this year as I turn 30 is, so it's gonna get a little personal. And that's okay. I had my period, I started my period when I was 9 years old. So at 9, like I was on my period, and I've been on birth control since 14. So one thing I wanted to do this year is to take a year off of that to see how my body feels, because when I was living in DC, I went to a doctor and the doctor was like, oh, you know, you have irregular periods, whatever, just keep taking the birth control. And I've realized that sometimes when I miss it, or if I switch it up, I've been on the NuvaRing for the past 6 years. So I've had the same one, but I've realized my body has been reacting different. So I want to give it a break. So I was thinking, like, you know, now that I'm in this energy shifting phase, maybe giving my body a rest with the birth control, because I mean, it's been like 15 years on it.
Yeah,
And
your life.
Yeah, half of my life. And I think one thing I would suggest for anyone listening who is in a similar situation, to not always assume that birth control will fix everything. Yes, it made my periods regular, it also has other side effects
Like
that
what?
I've realized.
Like what?
So you definitely have the fluctuation in the weight gain. I will say, like, your fatigue changes when you're on birth control. Like, I feel, for me at least, I feel like I've been a lot more tired now. These past couple of years, I've been tired. When I'm not on the birth control, my pain is different. I did take a 2-month break from it, and it was unbearable. I was like, I couldn't do it. So I got back on, but I also realized, like, I think my body has been so accustomed to this that it's like the transition of coming down from something is so hard. I will also say, for me, I've had some mood swings with it recently that I don't think I've
With the
ever
birth
really
control, or you coming off the birth control?
when I come back on it. So when I come back on it, like, the mood swings kind of shift a little bit. And that's just
And when
personally.
you come back, are you coming back on the same type of birth control?
Yep, the same type of birth.
Okay.
So it's just been different. And then I've realized, like, my periods get lesser and lesser, and then they come back, and then they get lesser and lesser, and then they come back heavy and get lesser and lesser. So I think I'm at the point now where I'm just like, I think my body needs a break. You know, I'm not dating anyone, so I don't have the the fear of having to be on birth control and all of that. So I think this is my year to give my body a break.
You know, that's interesting. We're actually in the same boat, because I just decided to give myself a break from birth control in August. I've been on birth control at different periods, I would say, since college for different reasons. But I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it's a hormonal condition. And they tell you when you get diagnosed with PCOS, they're like, birth control. In some cases, they say metformin, which is a diabetes drug, because you can have insulin resistance with PCOS. So that's what I did. I got on birth control. It regulated my period. I have irregular periods. I mean, if I'm not on birth control, I can go 8 months without a period. I never know when I'm going to come on my period. It's just real random. And so I did get on birth control. I did start taking metformin, but I could not do it. It was so rough on my stomach. I was like, I could not handle it. And then at the time I was going to an endocrinologist, when I told my endocrinologist, she was like, well, reduce it to half. It was too much for me. So I couldn't do that. But that's what they typically tell you when you have PCOS. And so this past August, I was like, you know what? I feel like they're telling you to do these things, and all it's doing is masking the problem. You're not getting down to the root cause of it. And I want to see if this is something that I could actually do. If I can really have regular periods, I naturally do it. And one of those things that the
Ketos?
PCOS community says. It's like all of this, it's a lot of information out there, so many different websites, Instagram pages. I've lately been following people on TikTok. A lot of information out there, but the problem is everybody's PCOS is different. But one of the things that seems to be constant is a dairy-free, gluten-free diet. So that's something that I want to try. I have not fully done it yet. I'm trying to slowly but surely introduce more gluten-free foods. Dairy-free is really hard, so I don't know how you did
Girl, dairy
the
free is difficult. I just had to jump right in. I was like, I can't even, I just got to take it all out the fridge.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try it. We'll see. But that's one of the things they say. They'll also tell you with PCOS to lose weight, and they'll tell you to exercise. Now, that is one thing I know I need to do. I know I need to lose weight. I just recently had a visit with my doctor, and she went over like my blood. I just had my blood work done, and she was like, my A1C is a little high. It's not pre-diabetic, but it concerns me because diabetes runs in my family. And I always was worried, like, I know diabetes runs in my family. I gotta watch what I eat. I gotta, exercise. And it's like, we know the things that we need to do, but then we don't do them. And so at this point, about to be 34, I'm like, all right, Christy, stop playing games with yourself. You know what you need to do. So yeah, with PCOS, I definitely feel you. Like, I really want to see if I can regulate my period without the birth control. And I've noticed since stopping birth control, I do feel like, so I don't know, I guess mine's maybe a little bit different than you. I do feel like I have more energy. I do feel like my mood is a little more stable. I feel like I'm not having like the different mood swings. So we'll see. It's going to be really interesting. One of the things with PCOS is it can affect your fertility. And so at this time, we don't know about children. Like, we haven't made a firm decision, but I know that's one thing that could cause some complications in trying to get pregnant. And so it's like, all right, Christy, you need to try dairy-free, you need to try gluten-free, you need to work out, you need to, watch your sugar and take your carb intake. So that's something I'm really struggling with, because I know in order to set myself up for the future, whatever that future might be, I need to do some things now for myself so that I can make it easier for myself when I get to that point. So I feel you with a birth control.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the things I've realized is when I went to my doctor, I had a male doctor for a long time. So I finally switched over to a female doctor, and I feel a little better about that, because when I had the male doctor, he was just like, just get on the birth control, just do it. But like having a female doctor now, I feel, excuse me, I feel a little bit better. Like, she understands a little bit, and she's like, okay, this could be why it is, or this could be why it's that. And I've had like misdiagnoses throughout my life. So one of my doctors said I did have PCOS. The other doctor said I didn't. So it was just like a back and forth, which is interesting. But I will say, like you said, Christy, like thinking about, transitioning off of that and giving your body a break and see how you react to it. So
yeah. So Rashana, you were the next one to turn 30. Turn 31.
30 WON 1.
Yes.
You just turned 31. So how has it been for you transitioning from your 20s into now? You had some experience in the 30 club. What's it like?
Yeah, so most of my 30 was actually, half, I had half and half. So half of it was pre-COVID, and then the other half was COVID.
It's all of
it. It was all of it together, right? And so pre-COVID, coming up to 30 in terms of health, I was very nervous about my knees, right? Because I pride myself on having Meg the Stallion knees. And I saw people on social media, like, when you turn 30, you can drop it. You can drop it, but you can't pick it back up. And I was like really nervous about that, but my knees have held up even until 31. Praise the Lord.
Yes. We're going to pray that they continue to be strong knees.
They continue to be strong. They continue to be strong. At the same time that they continue to be strong, I also know that I'm putting more pressure on them to increase their strength with my weight gain. So that is definitely something that I'm working on. I have always said, like, I would say I'm a visionary, right? And so I will say to myself, okay, I want to lose 50 pounds, right? But where that often falls off is that it's a little too far off and I need to break it into smaller action steps for myself. And so right now I'm just trying to lose 13 pounds by December 2020. So I want to be smaller in 2020 by December 31st, 2020.
Okay.
And then after that, my next goal is going to be to maintain that 13-pound weight loss, right? Mm-hmm. Because I go down and then I can go up. Like when I want to lose weight, I can definitely go down. And then I just go back up. And so that's something that I'm definitely working on. I want to send a shout out to all of the social media and online workout coaches and instructors that have been doing and hosting, honestly, some of these free workouts. That has been really helpful. My job, actually, which I work for the local government, their HR department does like Pilates, they do booty blast, they do Soca, Zumba, everything, oftentimes during your lunch hour. And so that has been really helpful to me. But after 30, that is something that I know is more important, similar to what Christy said. I am fortunate that I have not been diagnosed with any diseases, or I don't know if Pcos is a disease, but, like complicated diagnoses around things that surround weight gain. Like I don't have diabetes, I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have PCOS, but I know that is something that can happen, right? If I let it get too much. And while I'm not a mother, being a mother is very important to me. And so I want to make sure that I am honoring my temple at this time, which includes like not overfeeding it, so that when the time comes, I can be a vehicle to bring life into the world, right? So that is also important to me. The other thing is my stamina, right? I'm 30 and, I'm singling and mingling, and I want to make sure that I have the strength and stamina to do what I need to do, right?
Yes, come on, Meg,
I can't be lazy. Like,
look, this is the Soca queen, so she needs to be able to.
Yes. Right? Like I can't be lazy. There's certain things I like to do, and I want to be able to continue to enjoy my life intimately as much as possible. So that's also very important to me. And then in terms of Soca, so like this morning, I did shout out to Socanomics at Socanomics. She's a woman who does soca fitness, and it's based on, it's not just like Zumba with soca music, it's actually like based on carnival. So she plays a lot of good carnival music, and the moves and stuff are real sexy. But if anybody's been to a fete, we also jump up, leg up, all of that. So she incorporates all of those moves, and it's a really good workout. And I did her 30 minutes today, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to start again, because I was totally out of it. I also did a walk/run on Monday, and I was just not where I used to be. So those were all indicators that I need to really get that together. In terms of dairy, I stopped dairy back in 2017. I stopped dairy. I did a Terry Starks, if anybody follows him on Instagram, I did his diet, which is like 3 meals a day, including snacks. And with that diet, I couldn't do dairy. And what I noticed is that I used to have sinus infections and strep throat and a lot of mucus and things building up. And when I went on that diet, it completely stopped. So, and I started looking up, the causes of sinus infections, and a lot of it said like mucus, and what builds mucus? Dairy. So I already knew that was something that I needed to do. And so basically that's what I did. And I allowed that to work its course. And I haven't had a sinus infection in a very long time since cutting out dairy. So I'm on almond milk. I'm on the vegan cheese. I will still have pizza or ice cream every now and again, but I can't have it too much. Like this week here in Greensboro, I could not find the vegan cheese. And so that was pretty difficult. but I just ended up eating the regular cheese, and immediately I could feel like my nose was like starting to like be on fire. So that is really my health check-in. In addition to that, I have breast cancer. Not the gene, but it runs in my family. So I have breast cancer in my genealogy. My grandmother was a 2-time survivor of breast cancer. My mom's sister, who's her paternal sister, just is also a survivor of breast cancer. And then my aunt on my dad's side, so my dad's sister, passed away in 2017 of breast cancer. And so recently I actually have had like some, like, I would say it's eczema. I think they call it psoriasis or whatever. It was like on my nipples. So this is like really personal, but I'm sharing because I feel like there might be other women who don't want to share that because it's not pretty. It's not cute. Like, it doesn't make you feel sexy. And when I looked it up, I saw that it could be an indicator of like Paget's disease, which is like breast cancer on the nipple. And so I went to a dermatologist. I had a biopsy. It came back negative, thank God. So that is something that I am definitely keeping an eye on, learning the creams. Also, with that, I don't like steroids. So similar to like what Christy said with the medicine, you know, steroids, your body can become dependent. It could stop working. And so really understanding eczema is an inflammatory disease. It's also an allergic reaction. And so I have allergies. So when I'm around things I'm allergic to, it will flare up. When I'm stressed, it will flare up. And also if I'm not eating correctly, it will also flare up. So everything that I've been trying to do, 30 and 31, has been around decreasing my stress and really trying to eat healthier. So going to my therapist regularly, not quitting my job, but finding a new job that doesn't bring me a lot of stress, and then incorporating some healthier options into my diet. Along with that, I learned of the BRCA disease, which is, I forget what it stands for, but it's like breast cancer something, right? And it's pretty much a gene that if identified in your body, it lets you know that you have a high risk of having breast cancer. And so being that I do have breast cancer on both sides of my family, that's something that I'm going to be pursuing, and I will keep you all up to date on in 2021. I'm trying not to be too nervous about it, honestly, because with that, you know, people have mastectomies, people start to freeze their eggs, and it's just like a lot of different, you know, decisions that seem like they have to be made if you do have this gene. But I think it's important for me to know everything because that is something that scares me a lot. And then in addition to that, I found a lot of stuff at 30, clearly. Coming off of a high ride at Courtney's 30th birthday, I had some braids in my hair. And when I took my braids out, I noticed that like my hair, like in certain places was gone, you know? And it was like really thinning. And it's something that was brought to my attention last year in November by a friend who was braiding my hair. And then when I got my hair braided by the professional braider, she told me like I had a little spot like up here. But when I took those braids out, it was really bad. Like I just cried and cried and cried for a few days because I know that a lot of it had to do with stress, number one. And I had allowed my job to stress me out so much that now my hair was falling out. You know, people make jokes and they're like, oh, my hair is going to fall out. You know, I'm so stressed, my hair is falling out. But literally, I was just that stressed, my hair was falling out. And while I was living the life on Instagram, traveling and all of that, I was still working while I was traveling. I was doing a lot of traveling back and forth, and it was just a lot. So I'm going to see a dermatologist in 2 weeks. I saw there's a girl on Instagram, and her hair seems like it's doing well. So I figured, hey, let me try your dermatologist, even though she seems like pretty booked. But I'll be going to see what's up with that. And then to that point, also understanding that I'm allergic to the synthetic hair, which is something that I never really realized until probably coming up to 30. Last year was the first year I realized, like, when I get my hair braided, my hair is on fire. Like, I want to cut my hair out. And normally I get it done before I go on a trip. And I realize that when I go to like the Caribbean, which is where I like to travel, and I get in the water, it helps it. Like I make sure that I like dunk my whole head in and everything. So, and I wash it so it decreases the itch. But things happen. And so it could be a mix of that. It could be a mix of stress. It could be weight gain. I've looked up all of these things as well. So I'm just really excited at this point when it comes into 31 in my health. It's really for me identifying the causes of the different things that are going on with my body and trying to remediate those things as naturally as possible. I don't want steroids. I don't want medicine. I don't want pills. I've never been on birth control. I don't plan on getting on birth control, introducing that to my body. And so that is really what 30 has been for me, physically, mentally, and also just spiritually, because when you find out these things and these things happen, it definitely takes you on a spiritual journey to where you have to lean heavily on your faith, because while you have friends and while, you all know these things and have been very supportive, you do feel by yourself, because it really is you going through these things. So it's just been me and God, with the support of my friends and the few family members that I told. Yeah, so that has been 30, but thank God I still have my knees.
Yes.
That has been the highlight, that I still have my knees and I still have some hair on my head, because my head is big and I don't really have the shaped head. I don't feel I have the shaped head to go bald, but who knows? Yes, 30 and now 31.
31.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Hoping that your dermatologist appointment goes very well, and
me too.
find some remedies to that, and things start to look up.
Yes, and I feel like the number one remedy for many things we're talking about is really decreasing stress, and maintaining your peace, because I feel like even in COVID, I was really upset with certain memes that were like, if you don't come out of COVID with a new skill, a new job, a new business, you didn't do quarantine correctly. It's like, if I take a year out of my whole entire life to rest, and that's all I do, that's enough.
Exactly.
Right? Like that's enough. And that's it, period. And so people really have to realize that we live in a culture that really wants us to work 24/7. And for myself, having a full-time job, having a business, having podcasts, it's really important for me to make sure that I put boundaries up, and I respect my time. I reclaim my time. Thank you, Auntie
Exactly,
Maxine. Yeah, you have to take time for yourself. So how do y'all, I know both of y'all mentioned getting off birth control and some of these natural remedies. What are some of the things that you all are thinking about trying, or is there a link? Actually, I guess my question is there a link between irregular periods and stress? I mean, I know when I'm very stressed, I could skip or
definitely. Yeah, I mean, I know I mentioned, I think an episode or 2 episodes ago, that I've been trying to manage my stress, and one of the things with PCOS is that stress can affect your insulin levels. One of the other things with PCOS is you can have facial hair. They call it hirsutism. So, stress can really affect your hormones. And so one of the things I know with me and with other cases with PCOS is I had elevated testosterone. And so stress can, further elevate that. It could throw off other hormone levels. So that's one of the things I realized in trying to get to the root cause of whatever is throwing the regularity of my periods off, is that along with the diet, along with exercise, also have to manage the stress, because that could throw off of my levels. So it's definitely a link to it. And I think stress is probably a link to a lot of the diseases out there. I would say stress and inflammation. And I think our diets are the cause for a lot of the inflammation, which causes a lot of the diseases that we have. But definitely stress will literally make you sick. I've seen people literally get sick from stress. And it's just why are we letting these jobs, who, if we die today, they will put that job announcement out there tomorrow to replace you. Why do we let the jobs? Why do we let situations that we can't control stress us out? And I get it. Like, you need a job to pay the bills. Like, you need certain things in order to live the life that you live. But I think in your 30s, you realize, like, I don't got time for this nonsense. I don't got time for you to be stressing me out and getting me sick. And I think that, like I said, that's one of the things I've really been trying to manage, because I've had some stressful situations, just with work. And like I said, with the house, putting it on the market. And
like you said, the last episode, like that was also some stress, readjusting.
Yeah, still readjusting. I recently went to, like I shared, to the doctor, and she was telling me like my A1C levels were a little high. Like I said, not to the level of pre-diabetic, but I don't want them to get any higher. But just being like more aware of where I am now and my levels. And she shared one of the things that happened in the visit, and this kind of goes to what Rashada says, breast cancer does not run in my family, but she was doing the breast exam. This was my annual visit. That's another thing. Get your annual visits. There's a lot of people who don't like to go to the doctor, but you don't know if you have some type of condition, disease, any type of issue unless you go to the doctor. So at least get your...
know, is there like a blackwomen.doctor.com? Like they have like Black Psychology Today. Because in the DMV, and if anyone who's watching this and you want to comment, please let me know who your Black woman or even Latinx woman doctor is, because I'm having the hardest time. I go to a new doctor every year because I just cannot find one that I really like.
I don't know. If there's not one, though, somebody create it, because let me tell you, this is one of the things I wanted to say. It's important in your 30s to have a really good care team. And I, on my care team, like to have all Black women. So I was fortunate enough to eventually find a Black woman to go to here in Chicago as my primary care physician. Love her. She's amazing. She literally sat there and went through all of the different tests that were done, explained it to me, explained the numbers. And that's what I like. I like somebody that's going to not rush things through. I like them to sit down and explain things to me. But sometimes I find you got to like just really do the research yourself. I looked for a year. This is my first time going to the primary care doctor here in Chicago. My last visit, I think, was right before the wedding, because I wanted to get it in before I moved. I looked for that amount of time. I asked people. Nobody really had anybody to recommend that. Like I said, that was a Black woman. And so I really just had to keep doing Google searches, looking to see who took my health insurance. Yeah, like that's really how I have been able to get most of my doctors. I found a Black dentist, a woman that I just went to a couple of weeks ago. She was awesome. The therapist that I went to last year, I actually found her on Instagram. So you really got to do your own research. Somebody please out there create a network where we can find these Black care providers, because I like to have an all Black team.
Yes.
So yeah. But no, like I was saying, I was in the visit and she was checking my breast. And she was like, oh, like I feel some lumps. She was like, feel this. And so one of the things that I realized was I don't even know what my breasts feel like, because I don't do my monthly.
Oh, girl.
Yeah. Every day.
You gotta touch your mind, like you gotta know.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? I'm really not good with doing my monthly show. Well, and I think it's also because my periods were irregular. And, they tell you to do it around that time of the month. So I guess I didn't really think about it. But I was like, oh, that's one thing I need to be doing in my 30s. I need to be getting acquainted with how these breasts feel. And
I read a statistic that they said most times if it is found, it's actually found by the partner.
I can see it.
But you also, you know what? You also
so your husband may find it because he knows, he knows the breast feel like.
But you also got to know, like, not just what your breast looks like, but what your vagina looks like.
Yeah. Now that's true. You need to know how things normally operate in that. You need to know what it looks like. So if anything is different,
right,
you need to go ahead and make that appointment or whatever. Do whatever you need to do to get it back to its normal self. But
I think we have to start being honest too about that, right? Because like we're not honest about what it's supposed to be like in general.
mm-hmm.
And so we have these like off ideas about how it's supposed to look, how they're supposed to sit. You know, we don't promote a lot of that. So I think the more conversation we have will help.
That's good. That's true.
Yeah, but thankfully, you know, it wasn't any issues. There were lumps on both sides, so it didn't seem like there was any cause for concern. But I was like, yeah, that's really a reminder to me that I need to be more diligent about doing these self checkups so that, you know, if anything is irregular, then I can point that out to my doctor. So for each episode, we put out on our social media pages at 1000 Life what the topic is, and we get input from people. We get questions and comments. And so I wanted to highlight some points that came from a man in his 30s. Yes. So one of the things that he said that comes up in his conversations is mental health, which I thought was really interesting because I feel like Black men oftentimes don't really talk about mental health. When you bring up therapy, they shy away from it. So that was really good to hear that that's conversations that come up. And maybe, you know, the guys talk about it, but they just don't tell us women that they're having these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing he said was removing themselves from toxic people and environments and habits. And that goes to the whole stress. Like, you just don't realize how some of your environment sometimes can affect your health, mental, spiritual, and physical. And he also talked about dieting and working out in joint pains. And even though Rashada has the Meg the Stallion knees, let me tell you, there are some days where I have to like literally sit here and rub in my knees because knees are aching.
I had to rub my knees. Now, when I play basketball, but like I don't got Meg the Stallion knees. Like, you're gonna see me two twerks and I'm gonna be right up.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I can say. I'm about to be 34 in December. Whew, the knees, that's changed now. That has changed. I think it comes with the weight. If I lose some weight, maybe, you know, I won't have to be sitting here rubbing my knees like I need a knee replacement or something like that. Lord, I pray I don't ever have to have a knee replacement. So yeah, so I thought that was interesting that he brought those up. But those are the conversations that the guys are talking about with health in their 30s.
You know what else is interesting about your space too is like something that I have really worked a lot on during COVID is making my space what it needs to be in my home. Because during COVID, you're in quarantine, so you're not really seeing a lot of people, which I think has I'll be interested to see what the therapy and medical stats say after COVID around people's confidence and stress levels and weight and all of those things. But it really is also about your space. It has to be conducive to what it is that you need and you want. You know, choose colors. If you're looking for something that's calming, choose colors that are calm. Choose colors that remind you of your favorite place. I have added curtains. So I've added drama to my room, which has like made my bedroom feel like more complete. I've actually hung things, you know, because for me, I also will get stressed if something is sitting for too long, right? And I had a mirror that was for my bedroom, and it was literally sitting for a year. And just every time I passed it, it would create stress. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta hang that. Oh yeah, I gotta do this. It just reminds you of like this never-ending to-do list. And so creating my space and getting things done has also helped. Like, I definitely walk into my home feeling more calm. And for the first time in a long time, you know, when I'm away, I really do miss my house. Like, I can normally go somewhere for like 2 weeks, even 3 weeks, and be fine. But now after a couple of days, I'm like, oh, I miss my bed. I miss my sheets. You know,
right.
I miss the way my kitchen works, you know? So you really have to, it's about up here, but then and your friends, but it's also having a space that works for you, especially now when many of us are working in our space. One of the things that I got was, this person actually just said 31 hits different.
Oh,
I'm only
okay.
a few days into
Hello?
31, so I'm hold on now.
You'll find out.
Together. She said 30 was great, but 31, she said she had to come to terms with the importance of stretching. And while visually she's fine with the weight that she's put on, her joints just really cannot handle it. Mentally, at
Yes,
30 was the first time was the first time she was really able to take a step back and see lessons come full circle and understand that they were not in vain, but all relevant for her to be where she is today.
Yes.
She said she's learned to become kinder to herself, yes, and extend herself grace and compassion, which allows her to do so for others, to respect her pace. And she said that 30 is when it all started to make sense.
I love that because I think what I've realized, and granted, my 30s have been in quarantine, so we will see how 31 is. Because like,
a couple weeks,
I'm gonna be 30 again next year, just so I can relive the 30 year. But I think that's a big thing, just knowing that, you know, your timeline is your timeline and your space is your space, and like everything that's happening for you is for you, and you don't have to compare yourself. Like, don't look on social media and get upset and all of that stuff. Like, just really enjoying enjoying the race. That's what you have on your foot.
Oh yeah, so I have a tattoo. I was just gonna mention that I have a tattoo on my foot that I got 2019. Did I get it 2019? Yeah, 2019 going into, or 2000, I don't know, 2019 going into 2020. I've only had this for a year. No, I think I must have got it 2018. Anywho, the point is, it says cherish the race. And I got it on my foot because it's the idea of just walking your own path, cherishing your own race. Don't look into anyone else's lane. It's only you in the lane. And I got it as a reminder because I was coming off of a very tough year. And a lot of the struggles I faced was because I was looking at the clock. You know, this is why I actually think I got it at 29. But, you know, I was looking at the clock thinking like, oh, I'm about to turn 30 and I'm single. I don't have children. I'm not married. What am I doing in my career? What's next for me? I'm in this horrible entanglement right now. Like, it was just a really...
That entanglement?
Yes, it was definitely an entanglement. We'll talk about that in another episode. But it was definitely an entanglement. It was difficult. And a lot of that, all of the negative things were because I was trying to force things to happen. Like, you know, I was forcing the levers to shift versus just allowing it. So my pastor, or my old pastor, Pastor Matthew Watley, who was the previous pastor of our North Campus at Reed Temple AME Church, now Kingdom Builders, I think, AME in Maryland, he did a sermon called Cherish the Race. And immediately after that sermon, I said, I'm getting that tattoo.
And then one of the other things that Christy said is enjoy the wait. So it's about cherishing the race and enjoying the wait.
Yes.
For whatever you're waiting for, whether it's a relationship, new job, move, finances, whatever. You just enjoy the wait and cherish the race.
Yes.
I like that.
So we got a comment on our Instagram from Janetta Collier. Shout out to her. That really sums this up nicely. And
Did she say she wanted her name read?
No, she didn't. But she has a public IG page.
Oh, yeah, out there. My bad, girl.
Right. She has a public IG page, so I assume it's okay if she commented. Nah, it's out there. But she said, right. She said people underestimate the importance of health just because they feel strong and have nothing to be worried about. But the thing is, you can never be so sure when it comes to your health. You may think you still have years, but it can only be a matter of seconds before it comes to an end. And that's real. So I think that really sums it all up. You got to take care of yourself as best as you can for today, because you never know when it's your time. And so you just gotta live on 1000 holistically, and that means mental, physical, spiritual health. So we got to do the best that we can in our 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And that wraps up our conversation.
Okay. So this week, every episode we do the On 1000, and we talk about who or what we want to highlight on 1000 each episode. So for this week, in talking about health and wellness, and just like the 30 shift and all of that, one thing I want to highlight on 1000 is, and I got to find her name because I don't know her name, but the lady who made the honey pot products, I need to shout her out because she did something. And I will say, after using those products, like a lot of my cramps and like, the other female things that happen, when you're on your period have decreased. So thank you to the honey pot. I'm shouting you out for being on 1000, for creating products for women, by women, specifically for the needs of women. So thank you for that. Christy, who's your 1000 on, or who is on 1000 this week?
On 1000, the educators that are out there, the parents and the students, I can only imagine that it is extremely difficult to do distance learning right now. I have friends that work in education, and some of them have children, and I really feel for them. Like, we talked about managing stress and maintaining your health, and I know it's extremely difficult to have to adjust to teaching online. For the parents, I know it's difficult if you work also, if you're working from home. I know it's difficult making sure that your child is okay, and making sure that you're cooking and you're tending to the needs of your child and working. And for the students to have to learn virtually part of last year and this year for we don't know how much more for the foreseeable future.
Right.
Like, kudos to you all. I really feel for the students who need more individual attention, and they're not getting that right now. And so I just want to really just shout out you all. I am keeping you in prayer. I'm like just really sending you all the good vibes because I know it's difficult. I had someone that has kids and is working, and I'm sure some of those kids are doing distance learning. That was like, be glad you don't have kids because this is crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I feel for all y'all educators, parents, and the students. So y'all are on 1000. Y'all are amazing, and just hang in there. Hopefully it can get back to a sense of normalcy.
Yeah. Rashana, what's your 1000? Who's your highlight?
First, I want to just say her name is Beatrice Dixon. She is at I am Bea Dixon for the honey pot. Yes. She's amazing. Has done a great thing.
Shout out to Beatrice.
Yes, y'all need to go get her products, okay? Plug.
Yes. And that's another thing too. Women really have to be honest about what they're going through and create a safe space amongst their friends, right? To talk about like, hey, I'm having this. And so your friend can say, oh, you know what? The honey pot has these herbal infused pads, sprays for everyday usage, not just for your period, so that you can, get the help that you need or try something else. My person on 1000 this week is actually Selena Watkins. I mentioned Socanomics earlier, which is a Caribbean Carnival inspired dance workout. I am really inspired by her because she did it even during COVID, right? Like she went from teaching in-person classes, what is it? What's the magazine where it's like health and fitness? She was like a runner-up for that, for the cover of that magazine. Like, it's like a health and fitness magazine. If I say it, you all will know exactly what it is.
Health something.
But she did that, but she didn't allow those things to stop her. And then in COVID, she was able to build a network around Socanomics that is larger than what it was before COVID. And so shout out to her because she pivoted, her life and repurposed her talent. Like Christy was talking about her house, she repurposed her talent to do it in a different way. And I pray that it gives her all the increase. And at the same time, she's touching many of us who have tabanca, which is the feeling you have when you miss carnival. And for all of us who don't have that, she brings that to us every single week, twice a week, but also she's super encouraging when I tag her. And sometimes I even express to her my struggles and what I'm feeling. She's always just like really supportive and uplifting. And so in addition to the brand, just her, Selena Watkins, as the woman, behind Soconomics, is just really a light. And so she is definitely my person on 1,000.
Her. Shout out to everyone highlighted in this segment. Y'all are on 1,000.
Yes. So as we come to a close, ladies, I would like to introduce something in our closing, which is different than what we've done the first 2 episodes, but we want to give an opportunity for what we call the takeaway giveaway, where we talk about either something that we learned, which is a takeaway, or it's a giveaway. Maybe it's something that was not said or something that we just want to make sure you all got, okay? So, Christy, can you give us our first takeaway or giveaway?
Yeah, I'm going to go with cherish the race, your tattoo, and enjoy the wait, even in meeting your health goals, whether that's physical health goals, whether you're trying to lose weight, or whether you're trying to lower your A1C numbers, whether you're trying to get regular periods, whatever it is, just be patient with yourself. I really like what the person said that commented, and showing yourself some kindness and extending some grace to yourself. And so just be patient with yourself, and to really build a good care team. Go get those annual checkups so that you can stay on top of your health.
Yes.
Yes, Courtney.
My one takeaway that I've gotten from the conversation, and it wasn't like a direct, but it was more so ask questions and talk to your friends about what you're going through. Feel comfortable creating that space with people who care about you and you care about, and be open and honest about, some of the things you're experiencing. Because one of the things that came up here is like, as we're talking through all of the things that we have gone through, we want to be able to create space for women to feel comfortable saying, I've gone through the same thing, or I need help in this, or this is how I've been feeling. So ask questions, whether it be with your friends or your family or on Instagram or wherever you feel comfortable. Ask questions and talk about things that you're going through to ensure that you're getting the support, the help, and the answers that you need to some of the stuff that's happening. So don't feel afraid to ask and talk about what you're going through. That's my takeaway.
So my giveaway is actually something that I wanted to highlight. It's from one of my frat brothers, Rory G. James, and his Instagram, follow Instagram is Greg G. Colomet. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but he just turned 40, and he made several posts today about things that he wants people who are in their 30s to know. And one of them is about protecting your peace. And what he says is, the older you get, the more you realize quiet moments, times for reflection, meditation, and prayer are essential. An extension of this is knowing when to not get involved in other people's chaos, confusion, and drama, even if those individuals are family members and loved ones. And so I wanted to just remind everyone to give that away, protecting your peace. We are in a very interesting and very disappointing time in our nation when it comes to our political structures, our legal system structures, just the treatment of Black and brown people. And it can just be very hard, right? With those things that are indirectly affecting some of us, right? Acknowledging that some people are directly impacted. But remember that even in chaos, you have to try to find your moments of peace. and surround yourself with what you want that's manifesting, right? If you want love, surround yourself with people who are love. If you want peace, surround yourself with people who bring you peace. And so protect your peace, cherish the race, enjoy the wait, and have your circle of friends, your tribe, always to bounce ideas off of. So it is time for us to sign off, but you can catch us every other Thursday on YouTube, Apple Music, Anchor, and Spotify. We ask that you like, subscribe, follow, share, let your friends know what we're talking about. Let them know that we are here. If you want to send us a message, a DM, or write on our walls, about future topics that you're interested in, we definitely want to hear from you. Follow us at 1000 Club Life on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, maybe TikTok.
Everywhere.
Maybe TikTok.
We're going to be on all the platforms pretty soon, y'all.
Yes, we working on it.
Yes. And after you listen, leave a review. Let us know what you think, all right? So until next time, peace.
We out.
Be well.
Boop, boop.